Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are able to hear my voice so clearly. So today I just want us to look at best ways to establish a trend in the forex market. So as you've seen, basically most people, I don't know whether you've understood it, that most of us we are just trading. We don't actually know whatever you're doing. We are just trading. We just go to the market. We enter trades. We don't know exactly what is happening, whether the price is going up, the price is going down, or the price is consolidating. So I'll start by first defining three things. In the forex market, either the price is in an uptrend, or price is in a downtrend, or the price is getting. So your understanding of the three is actually very, very important if you want to gain an edge in the forex market. So the first thing you have to do is to establish the trend. So understand that, are we in an uptrend, or are we in a downtrend, or is the price consolidating? So when you know what's truly happening, then you're able now to say exactly where the price is expected to go in the next maybe few hours or few minutes, or even the next few months. Okay. So everybody have their own ways for doing this. You may be surprised that whatever I'm going to teach today, you may find it somewhere online, or maybe you may not find it, or you may find someone else who is using something exactly opposite what I'm saying, and it tends to work for them. So how you establish trend is, there is no one clear-cut way where somebody says that this is how you establish trends always. No, everybody have their own ways for doing it. Whatever I'm going to do now is I'm going to teach you what myself have been practicing, and I think it's something really, really useful for anyone who would really want to know how to establish trend in the forex market. Okay, so there are three things. There are three things which I use mostly. I do use a given set of indicators. I use price action. That is what entirely what the price is doing. I also get information from online. So I may get some whatever the trend is from some database online, or I may use my own indicators, or I may use the price to know exactly where the trend is headed. Okay. So the first indicator which I use for trend is the zigzag indicator. I know this is the last thing everybody expects me to be talking about, the zigzag. It's the last indicator somebody should expect me to talk about, especially when it comes to trend. Okay, there is one thing here. I'd like to extend that just a second. Let me show my entire screen. Okay, if you look at, this is the MT5 itself. If you go here and insert, there is a given set of indicators here. There is this list for indicators, and then there is this trend indicators. So you cannot find zigzag here because actually zigzag is not considered as a trend indicator, but there is a way that if you use it, it can actually help you to establish a correct trend. It's all these indicators you're having here, from the adaptive moving average, average direction movement index, all of them are trend indicators, which means when you attach any of them on a chart, they actually help you establish where the trend is headed. You can get them from this list, insert indicators, then you go to trend, then you'll get the entire list. This is all those indicators which shows you exactly where the trend is headed. So there is something else. I was talking about the zigzag indicator. You cannot find it here, but you can find it under the custom indicators. We have them here. So custom indicators, they are not the standard indicator that come by default when you install the MT5. So these other indicators, the trend indicators, the oscillators, the volumes, the Bill Williams, all these indicators, they are standard indicators which comes by default with MT4. So there's another list of indicators which were built by programmers. Just somebody may build an indicator, and then if it meets a given criteria, then you may want to get it listed here. Or you can just build your own indicator and use it, you'll still find it here. So I was using the indicator which I use for trend. The first one which I'll use for trend is the zigzag indicator. We have it here. If you click it, like the one which I have on the screen already, it will show up as I've touched this one. I hope that makes some sense. So this is how I use this, because I noticed sometimes back that if you're using price action to trade, because when you're using price action, you actually look at the lows and highs. That's when you know that the price is actually heading to the upper side. The zigzag indicator can act as a good tool to replace the highs and lows because it helps you identify the high and the lows unbiased. What I mean by that is this. Look at this place here. Look at from this point. Look at from this point here. Look at this is like the highest high so far. The price went as low as this point, came back up, touched this high here, but could not break beyond the previous high. So this, in the first place, this is a sign that somehow the price is downwards. This is why the price was not able to break above this high. Then the price continues down, comes back up, establishes a high here, but does not break beyond the previous high. Can you see that? The price goes down, comes back up, but fails to break above the previous high. It continues down, comes back up, touches this high here, but fails to break the previous high. So this is a sign that somehow the trend is downwards. So whenever you see, when you have the zigzag indicator on the screen, and you see that the price is actually giving us lower highs, then just understand that the price is in a downtrend. Understand perfectly well that somehow we are in a downtrend. So it means that the price started here, it went down, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and a higher high. So when the price now breaks, for example, if you're in a downtrend and then the price goes up and breaks below the recent previous highest high, like here, then this right here is the correct place to consider looking for a buy from. So as it was moving down, we were looking for sell positions. We were sellers, sellers, sellers. And when the price pulls back up and crosses above this high, then that's the point where now we look for buy position. That's the exact place where we'd like to look for a buy from. This signifies a very good breakout. So on the other side, you can see that after this breakout here, the price establishes some high here, then it came back and formed a low. But this low here is not as low as the previous one. So when this happens, this is now a sign that somehow the downtrend which we had here is ended and that we are, for some reasons, now in an uptrend. We see that the high is also getting higher, the low is getting higher. We had a lower low, a higher low, there is a higher high, and then there is a higher low. When this happens, this is now the correct time to consider looking for buy position, which means the price is now in an uptrend. We are now looking for buy positions. We're supposed to keep looking for buy orders as long as the highs keep getting higher, 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 and then you continue to look for buy positions. So even now, if the price pulls back down, we don't expect it to break below this low here. We don't expect price to break below this low. Instead, we want it to move back down, but fail to break below this point, and instead give us a buy signal. So that's about the zigzag. That's how I basically use the zigzag indicator to look for the correct trend. That is how I use the zigzag indicator to look for the correct trend. Let's get another example of the British pound dollar. So look at this. One more thing which I'd like to mention is that when you are in an uptrend, look for the highs, the lows getting higher. So if this is an uptrend here, you look at the low, higher low, higher low. They keep getting higher, higher, higher into the future. And when we are in a downtrend, you look for the highs getting lower. So the high, lower high, lower high, and a lower high. When this happens, when the price begins to do this, then you now know that the price is somehow in a downtrend. So we'll start considering the idea of the highs getting lower as a sell if we've already gone below some low which we have here. Like here, when this forms, when the price, you can see that there was a touch below this low, and then there's a lower high. If this forms the third one, then that means we are now in a downtrend. That means the price will now continue to the left side. And if the next one now pulls back up, but does not break above this high, then that means we are now in a downtrend. So this means we're supposed to continue looking for sell positions. We're expecting price to continue downwards, at least up to these lows here. So that's basically how I look at this, how I establish trends. It's the safest, the easiest way to establish trends. Once look at the highs of the zigzag indicators and the lows of the zigzag indicators, and you will be able to establish the trend the correct way. So when that happens, when you begin to see something like this happens, just know that the trend is in that direction. We are indeed heading to the lower side. Does that make sense, whatever I've said? Does it make sense? Whatever I'm saying now, it should make a lot of sense. The zigzag indicator is easy to find. You can basically find it. It's everywhere. Every MT4 has it. So that should not be a problem. The next thing is how establishing the highs and the lows are also very easy. They are visible. You can just see that the high, these are the high, these are the high, these are the low, these are the low. You can see it easily. So there is just one problem in the zigzag indicator. And the problem is that it repaints. It repaints. Okay, what that means is this. When you can see that the high has formed here, the low has formed here, then the high has formed here, then we have now we are in the process of continuing in the direction after this high here. So if the price is to go up and close above this high, that's if the price now move like this, if it goes up and closes above this point, then there are cases where the entire low, which is this one, disappears, and instead this continues up like this. And then the low which you have here corrects itself, and this becomes the lowest low now. So we'll have something like this, we'll have something like this, we'll have something like this here, and then we'll have something like this. Then here we move from this point up to this one. So there is no this, and then there is no this low here. This is the only problem with the zigzag indicator. This does not happen all the times. Sometimes it can happen, sometimes it cannot happen. So you try to look for cases where the zigzag is not repainting, and even if it's repainting, you are still likely going to get good position, especially if you remain if your settings for the zigzag, that's the settings are high. That is, sorry about that. I think my internet got disconnected for some reason. So as I was saying, if you have the settings, the inputs of the zigzag indicator as this, that's they're very, very low, then you're likely to see a lot of repainting. You'll see that the price continues to repaint way much more than if you have them set at this. Or even if you increase them, then the repainting becomes even much lesser. So I'd recommend you remain with the default settings, because this gives you the correct trend. It will give you the most reliable longer time trend than if you use the short the lesser inputs. Okay, so as it is now, this is what this the best indicator. This so far, this the one which I use for the for establishing the trend. The other thing is you may use price action. So the price action is the concept applies the same way, but it's slightly different because you use the candles. You look at the candle the way they look. Like you'll have this. Look at what's happening here from this point, from this low here. There is a very big move to the upper side. Then there's a correction. Then there is a massive move to the upper side. Then we have another massive move to the upper side. Look at the candle in between these two green candles. This is like a pin bar. It always indicates that we are in an uptrend. Like when this happens, when you have a pin bar here, when you have a pin bar here, it means that the price is in an uptrend. So that means you should keep looking for more buy positions, keep looking for more buy orders. The price is actively in an uptrend. So when you see this, assuming you're on the monthly chart, on the weekly chart, and then you see that the previous week's candle is actually a pin bar, expect this week to pull back, which means when you now see after this pin bar, this is a weekly chart. If the weeks now start on this candle here, and you check 1 hour chart or 4 hours, and you find sell candles, just know that those are just pullbacks. They are just corrections. They don't indicate that the price is reversing. So you are supposed now to keep looking for buy orders, expecting a move even higher. And when the price pulls back down and you see